Hello, welcome to a special episode of the Red Pill Australia. We're here with Adrian Irvine of the UAP, and we all give him a big warm welcome to the Red Pill Australia.
My name's Adrian Irvine. I'm the candidate for the United Australia Party for the seat of Dunkley.
For your first plan, if you get elected, will you help all the youths that have had problems with during the lockdowns and stuff?
100%. So look, absolutely front and foremost, I've got 2 young 14-year-old boys that live in our house. It is incredible. We need to look after the youth. 2 years of lockdowns, I know that the EMC has had young girls that have been self-harming, and it is terrible. The Australia Party is to put an extra $40 billion into the health services so we can help everyone. People have suffered. I say no more. Let's get it going, and let's help people.
I agree. Another thing I would like to ask you is, will you be willing to welcome and have more activities running for the youths around Frankston? So let's say you're down at the beach, will you have little events and stuff happening down at the beach on some weekends to allow the youths to get to know one another and actually unite Frankston and the rest of Australia eventually too?
100%. So one of the key issues for us is to have more events. I've actually said in one of my press releases a few weeks ago to one of the local papers, if we had the Red Bull Air Show here, we'd get more people down here. All the youth can come down, sit on the beach, look at the Red Bull Air Show. I can't see why we don't have an air show from the Red Bull team down here in the Frankston Beach. It's fantastic. Kids have to have more to do, more to see. And at the moment, Frankston's a great place to live, but there's nothing to see or do here. You've got the cinema area, needs to be done up. You need more time zones, more games, paintball, skirmishes. I'm all for kids having fun.
Yeah, nice. Why do you stand on vaccine mandates? So are you with them or against them?
Do you know what? I'm not against vaccines, I'm against the mandates. If someone wants to get 16 shots, get 16 shots. You should not sack one person for a personal decision they've made. The United Australia Party talks about freedom. The United Australia Party says you're free to decide what you do with your body. When the state intrudes on your liberty, I say that's wrong, and it's also the policies of the UAP. Everyone should have freedom of choice. Why should someone be discriminated against on a medical decision?
So true. I actually really agree.
Where are you letting out a question? That's actually, my gosh, man, that was...
He's a smart little guy.
Ryan, when you said that about the youth, oh my gosh, man. See, it wasn't a question, it was like 6 parts of that one question.
One of the things that we do at home often is we talk about the things that need to happen in the world to change it.
Yeah, and so we talk a lot about...
understand it.
It's still recording, you don't mind.
No, that's fine, that's fine. I think that's fantastic.
Also, have you... do you know anything about the UN's Agenda 2030? Do you agree with any of that stuff?
Look, at the moment, even on my phone, I've got so many emails that I'm just trying to keep up with. I haven't heard of that, but one thing I will say, a lot of the stuff that I've read about the United Nations, when they try to put a universal tax on us for this or for that, I don't subscribe to those values. And you look at the United Nations, you've got Saudi Arabia, I think Iran, North Korea, some of these countries, they treat women terribly, but then they're still on the board of all these UN policy decisions.
It's I look at it this way. I see a lot of, you look at how women are treated in some of these countries like Afghanistan. Yes, they might not be able to speak out, but we're only seeing what the news is printing for us, and we're not seeing the full pictures of what's actually happening in these countries. And the media, would you agree, the media is quite manipulative of certain subjects, and they just push.
Look, I'd agree 100%. I look at what the media did. Jesse Smollett, the American actor, a few years, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, he was the actor that said that he was beaten up by a whole lot of redneck white Americans wearing MAGA hats, making America Great Again hats. And CNN said that America had a big problem with racism over this one issue. Turns out Jesse Smollett, he fabricated the whole issue. He had 2 Nigerian brothers bash himself up. But the media, they could not get enough of the narrative of all white people are bad. So yes, the media have a self-interest, and that's terrible. You watch the news tonight, it's all centre-left, and I'm not a fan of that.
What what do you think, look, at this is a bit of a sensitive question, just a warning. What do you think about the LGBTQ community? Do you reckon there should be certain rules put in place for certain people like transgenders? Should there be special toilets and stuff and special facilities if the guy is not willing to go, but if a guy is willing to go to that distance to actually get his genitals and stuff removed? I know it's wrong, but it's their body, their choice. Would you class as if they were willing to go that far? Would you class them still as if they wanted to be called woman? Would you respect that choice?
Look, when you ask me that question, that's a great question. I want to say, Scott Morrison's got one of his candidates at the moment that said a female candidate for Warringah in New South Wales. She recently got into trouble for saying a woman's a woman and a man's a man, and you can't change it. And I think most of Australians think that's exactly right. You look at the media, they're jumping on this woman that said one issue. I dare the media that jump on these people to go to the Muslim community and say, what do you think about the transgender issue? What I think about it, I think it's great. If you want to be a man that's a boy, do that, do what? We're about the Freedom Party. But what I don't like is when you're identifying as X and going into the bathrooms of Y, and that's when there'd be an issue.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of fair-minded people would also have an issue with their young children being exposed to that. So
yeah, it's like it needs to be taught, but it needs to be taught in a proper manner, not like by the actual community allowing these transgender peoples into schools. Like, I'm not transphobic here, but it should be taught to like high school students. They should be taught to it properly and explain it's your body, your choice, but not push it like severely, like try and manipulate kids into a certain mindset. And it's like, you see where I'm coming from?
100%. I think that everything you're talking about, these are such delicate issues, and I think it was 60 Minutes or one of those programs. They had a 4-year-old child that was born a girl, that then identifies as a boy, or swapped the genders at 4 or 5 years old. When you're 4 or 5 years old,
that's too young.
It's too young, and from what I understand, you don't have any testosterone in your bodies, and it's all an environmental. That's what I understand.
It should be taught around like when you're getting to about high school level. If you feel like you're not comfortable as who you are, they should be taught, and psychology and stuff should be given to teach these people the right way. And if they want to go to this level, then so be it. And they want to be called a woman and they're willing to go that far, and they should be allowed to take that name as a woman.
100%. If they're committed to the cause and they put their flag in the ground, good on them. I respect anyone that has the courage of their convictions. Do you know that? If you've got the conviction to do that, well, more bully for you. I still believe everyone's got freedom of choice, and at the same time you have to be very sensitive of the silent minority. I know a lot of Muslim friends that think a certain way, and a lot of Christian friends that think the other way, and I think everyone, what you do, as long as it's not impacting on others, I think that's great.
With the current changes, have you seen the changes to the education system they're trying to bring into place, like directing VCAL and combining VCAL and VCE into a similar thing? Do you reckon that's a smart idea, or is it alright or is it okay to change up the education system after it's been in place for so long?
At the moment, I'm 47. I remember when I went through school, we studied reading, writing and arithmetic, the 3 R's and phonetics. The syllabus on all of the public schools at the moment, I think it is abhorrent. They're trying to teach people if you're a boy, you're a girl. If you're a girl, you're a boy. Let your emotions rule your life. Emotions lie.
Trying to overshoot us,
yes.
Pretty much.
So what I'm saying is, what's on the education syllabus at the moment can be cut right back to the bone. Go back to the basics. Mum and dad will tell the children what's best for them. It's not the role of the state to decide what's best for the children. The state doesn't own the children. The state are given the children 8 hours a day whilst they're at school to be cared for by the teachers. It's not the teacher's job to indoctrinate.
So true. I've had a number of teachers, I've had an incident in school where my mate got kicked out of class because he didn't want to wear a mask, so he cut 2 holes, and I respect it. So me and my other mate went and flown the red flag upside down, and my teacher, without warning, took my flag and said, you have to go and have a chat with the assistant principal about getting it back.
That is incredible. Look, I think every child that's at school at the moment, they should be getting taught by I'll go back to it, by their teachers of reading, writing and arithmetic. I listen to a lot about what Ben Shapiro says on the radio, and I think the way he articulates conversations is fantastic. School is for school. Every other stuff is for the parents. It's a private conversation. So
the schools shouldn't be teaching kids stuff about certain stuff because it's not their area. The parents should be doing it. Makes you wonder, are some of these parents who have had kids have actually had them for to actually look after them, or have they just gone and had them because there's a pension?
Look, I've got no idea. I know one thing. I did a lot of stuff. I was in the army. That was fantastic. Joined the Army Ready Reserve. Had a great time. But not until you become a parent do you realise it's the best job in the world. I can't fathom anyone having a child for a pension. I know one thing, you don't make money having a child, I can tell you that much. So, but it's the most rewarding job in the world. I've got a son and a stepson. Being a dad is the best job in the world.
Yeah. Stepson, most fun.
Would you like to say anything else to the viewers?
Yeah, what I want to say, when you go to vote, have a real conscious, be really conscious about the person you're voting for, and ask yourself, when you're voting, for the last 2 years, did the people you vote for, did they ask for the shops to be open, the schools to be open, the businesses to be open? If your mum and dad suffered in the last 2 years, ask yourself, why didn't Liberal, Labor or the Greens try to do anything for your mum and dad? For the last 2 years, the disgraceful state government in Victoria, under that disgraceful Premier, he's locked us up, hasn't released the science. You can't believe the narrative of the Victorian Labor government when they locked up swings and slides with the penalty of a $1,700 fine if you use that during lockdown because of the virus. The science behind these decisions has not once been released. For the government not to release the science behind these lockdowns, it says to you they're either lying or they're hiding something, and I think it's garbage. The United Australia Party says freedom. Without freedom to choose what's best for you, have a look at it. You have got nothing better. And before you vote, look at the Labor and the Liberal people and ask, where were they for 2 years? Did they ask for your mum and dad's business to be saved? Did they want your school to be opened? Where were they? That's what I'm saying. United Australia Party, I've said for 2 years and also privately, we should not have locked down the schools for as long as what we did. We should not have locked them down at all. It is terrible.
Thank you so much, Adrian, for this interview.
Please like and subscribe for more content like this, and see you in the next episode.